Hi, my name is Rohit. Welcome to Mind on a Leash. In this program, we're going to learn about a lot of really amazing things that I wish I had learned a long, long time ago. But I didn't find anyone teaching any of this stuff here, so I hope that you will find it as useful as I have. You will learn how to manage your mind, how to optimize the way you use it and not let it use you, how to be the boss of your mind and be in charge of it, how to observe it, challenge it, direct it, how to be compassionate with it, and how to soothe and make peace with your own mind. I have a question for you. Does your mind chatter endlessly and drive you crazy? Does it call you names like stupid or lazy or idiot? Does your mind judge you, criticize you, belittle you, beat you up, especially when you make a mistake? Does it get anxious over the future? Does your mind ruminate, grieve, and dwell on the past? Does your mind perhaps look a little like this? Do you have emotional ups and downs? Do you feel stressed, disconnected, alone, and unsafe? Do you feel agitated, worried, unsatisfied? Do you feel trapped and out of control, powerless and helpless? If that's true for you, then you're going to find this extremely important. We were all born with a fascinating body and mind on an incredible planet with amazing creatures and people, but we weren't given an official instruction manual. Scriptures had answers that led to questions to which there were often no answers. That led to faith and belief. It indicated an alternate reality, but we didn't know how to get there, and we didn't know how to see for ourselves and prove whether they were talking about was true or not. We've made tremendous progress in science, technology, medicine, etc., but our progress has generated even bigger problems for the planet and ourselves. Most importantly, we fail to understand who we are and why we're here. So to really get to the heart of this problem, we need to get to understand ourselves better. If you start with, who am I? Well, I'm a human being, right? I have a body. What is that body? An organic machine with a blueprint, DNA that requires maintenance, can be shaped. All right. I have a mind. What's that? That's an organic computer with an extremely powerful processor with input-output devices, right? Like eyes and ears and mouth and so on. And a big hard disk, our memory. And then we have something else, which other spiritual teachers refer to as the life force or consciousness. And this is what I'm going to present to you as the owner of the mind-body organism. We are really identified with our mind, and that means our thoughts, our emotions, our knowledge, our beliefs, our desires. We believe whatever our mind tells us. This mind that we believe so blindly is a highly sophisticated organic computer that is constantly interpreting the world around us. It's assigning meaning to whatever happens. It's sort of binary in nature if you observe it carefully. It's always sorting things into I like, I don't like, I agree, I disagree. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. And then based on its interpretation, it starts to experience the world emotionally. And based on those emotions now, it begins to react. It's a strange situation we find ourselves in. Imagine having a computer with no operating instructions, with terrible programmers. The programs for us have been our parents, our teachers, the media, and no support for malfunction, viruses, and self-destructing programs. Programs in our mind that cause us to sabotage and self-destruct even the very things we want. Why does this happen? The two greatest mysteries in the universe are the mind and, well, the world we live in. And scientists have been spending enormous amounts of time trying to figure both out. When it comes to the mind, the human brain has 100 billion neurons, which is as many stars as there are in the Milky Way. The human brain can do 10 quadrillion calculations in a second, the same as a computer the size of New York City. The brain is the hardware, and the mind is the software. The mind lives in its own world, a self-created world of thoughts and emotions, spontaneously churning out about 50,000 thoughts per day, more on a busy day or less when we're relaxing. Even during our sleep, our mind is constantly churning out thoughts. So ask yourself, what's on your mind? Are there thoughts going on? Are there memories? Are you analyzing things? Is your mind interpreting? Are you feeling things? Or are you reacting to things? How much of that has been chosen by you? And how much of that is something your mind is doing to you? The mind concocts truths. The interpretations that it creates are concoctions. I might be challenging some things that you believe, but I hope that by challenging your mind, we can begin the process of taking charge of it. So let's think about this. If I interpret the world, or my mind interprets the world a certain way, then I start believing that if I think it, then it must be true. Or if I feel it, then it must be true. Or if I believe it, then it must be true. The mind believes that it can read the minds of others. It'll say things like, I know what you're thinking, but does it? Have you ever challenged it? Have you ever gone up to someone and said, I know what you're thinking, and asked them, was this what it was? And then found out, actually, it wasn't true. I could challenge any person to read my mind. I'm sure they couldn't. Your mind believes it can predict the future. It'll say things like, I know what's going to happen. But do you? Have you ever really tested your mind to see if it was able to predict what was going to happen even 5 minutes later, or an hour, or a day, or a week later? Probably if you've challenged your mind and tested its ability to predict the future, you might have found it just cannot. Then again, the mind makes up stories. It's making up things by weaving together all of the above, and then whatever limited data it has, it kind of spins it all together and then believes the stories it made up. For example, your mind might say, I'm not good enough. That's one of those myths that the mind tells us. I'm messed up. I'm flawed. I'm defective. Something is wrong with me. And we believe it blindly. Everybody believes in something. Most people believe in a God. What is a God? For a lot of religions, it's someone you believe in, someone who you bow down before and submit to, someone who you obey, defend, and fight for, and someone who you rarely challenge or doubt. We all have a God that we follow, whether you're an atheist or a religious person. And that God is the mind God. All of us believe it blindly. All of us bow down and submit to it. All of us obey, defend, and fight for it. All of us rarely challenge or doubt it, and we follow its orders blindly, just as people do with religion. And then we work hard to appease the mind God. We seek external identity and validation from friends, family, social media, from fashion, from career, from possessions. We work hard for these things, the things that we think we need. We demand a lot from ourselves and others. We judge, criticize, argue, fight with ourselves and others. We rarely make time for the things we know actually matter, such as love, connection, fun, relaxation, etc. But have you ever asked yourself why? Why are you doing all of this? Is it perhaps because your mind is telling you something? See, the mind has been in control of us for a long time, and we've just not learned how to snap out of it. Let's take a look at some of the factors that actually control the mind, and Carl Jung called these archetypes. One of those, the classic, most famous one, is this one. The concept of a God who is judgmental. The judgmental God archetype, I call it. The origins of this lie in religion, and religion taught us that God would punish us if we did not obey him. Even if you're an atheist, and even if you've rejected the God of religion, that concept is still programmed as an archetype within your mind. It is the ultimate archetype, and much of how we treat ourselves and each other is based on this archetype, whether you believe or don't believe. We can deny the existence of God, but the false archetype that we are running from will continue to haunt us. The only way out is to reinvent the way we see the archetype, God. What if we were to believe that God is unconditionally loving and compassionate, never judges or punishes us, that God made us fallible and knew we would mess up, that God gave us free will to learn from our mistakes. Maybe then we might be able to come to a place where we actually have a very different archetype in our mind, which allows our mind to now start to behave differently. Is your mind your friend or your enemy? In an ancient text called the Bhagavad Gita, it is written, "For one who has conquered the mind, it will be the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, it will be the greatest enemy." Now, is it really possible to tame the mind? Some might ask, won't I have to become a monk or a nun? Won't I need to be celibate or stop enjoying life? Some might even believe that only special people can do it. At least I know I did. I used to think, oh, only some great person can do it. I can't. That it's hard. And I even tried. I tried for a long time and failed. How about you? Ask yourself, are my thoughts and feelings true? Have I ever challenged them? Have I ever verified their accuracy? And then ask yourself honestly, whose mind is it? Does my mind belong to me? Or do I belong to my mind? It's an honest question, and I'd love for you to think about it. Let's say it again. Does my mind belong to me, or do I belong to my mind? Who's in charge? Am I in charge of my mind, or is my mind controlling me? Take a screenshot of these questions and think about them. They're important enough for all of us to dwell on. What if taming your mind was simple? The power you need lies within you. What if it was natural, like breathing or eating? What if it was effortless? There was no need to struggle or work hard. What if you could integrate the process and make it part of everything you do? Would that be something you'd like to learn? What if it was a skill that could be learned by anyone, just like training a dog? Yes, it does require alertness. It does require perseverance and consistency, but that's something we do even when we're driving a car or riding a bicycle or even crossing the road. These are skills we've all learned. What would be the benefit of doing this? Well, it might end the non-stop inner dialogue, chatter, and criticism. You would be able to tap into your authentic self, your soul, and discover the feelings of joy, peace, love, and everything you ever desired within you. Would you be willing to do what it takes to turn your mind around? I'm going to have you imagine something. Just close your eyes and imagine feeling naturally positive and inspired. Naturally, a feeling that arises from within you, not from your thinking, not from your visualizing, not from your believing, but a feeling that radiates from within you. A feeling that makes you feel as if you're intoxicated with life, but not with any drug or any substance. A feeling that makes you feel like you're in love with life, with yourself and everyone. A feeling of being abundant, peaceful, and happy for no reason, without any substance or drug. Yes, I want to emphasize that part. Because this feeling lies within you, and what is blocking this feeling is your mind. Is the fact that your mind has been in control of you all this time. But that can be changed. Imagine not needing to be right, not needing to be defensive, easily able to resolve conflict, easily able to navigate difficult situations, effortlessly able to find solutions, and feeling inspired to create wonderful things. That would be a great life, wouldn't it? Imagine experiencing unconditional self-love, unconditional love for your partner, unending, focused, present, secure, committed love for yourself and others. These are the goals of this system: an inner revolution, a new identity, a new reality. The process is scientific and practical. It requires you to test it and do the work. Are you ready? Because if you are, I have a lot of amazing things to share with you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.